Hey, it's Johnny Flynn, running for U.S. Senate in Connecticut, and 3 or 4 people per day call me with very, very outrageous stories all the time. And there's a guy on the phone right now who's a blogger who's had run-ins, and if you talk, I mean, we just met about 10 minutes ago, but he has a case where he has 4 boys, you know, twin 7-year-olds, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and I've got him here on the phone, right here, and I'm not going to share too much about it. I will show you his page, though, on YouTube, and there it is. It's called Tyrant Slayer Studios, and I'm highlighting one short. I'm going to play it when we're done. I hope you go to this guy's page and play it, because what I'm hearing is that he has a 13-year-old daughter. I'm going to let him correct whatever statement I'm about to make. He has a daughter, right, she's 13, and she's terrified about living with the mother. Now, the father, who's here on the phone, lost custody to the lady, who they were never married, is my understanding. Now, let me just explain a little, try to keep it in the simmering pot cooking, and not really try to embellish too much. But I'm going to have the father speak in a moment. And I'm finding out more and more cases where judges violate thus pro se litigator, self-litigated person's rights under the Constitution, and how in this case right here that we're talking about, 4 boys living with the father, the girl living with the mom he has mentioned is a heroin addict. Okay, take it or leave it. The people, transients coming through the house, take it or leave it, have caused fear in his daughter's eyes, so much that she can't express herself and may be in fear of what's happening to her. And he just made a comment to me which started me to get permission to do this 2-minute video. We're going to take it a little further. I want you to watch this 1A Audit Rockville Family Court Tyrant Slayer Studio video, and please comment. Why? We're doing a human trafficking event coming up soon, okay? It will be announced. It's a known person. She's claiming it's a high-ranking Democrat that trafficked her. So, let's get, I don't want to go off on a tangent. I've got this friend of mine. We're newly found friends. I'm sure we're going to be tight. Of course, he's saying, promote my page, and I say, let me help you get where you want to be. And he says, Johnny, I'm 100% down with your program. I've seen some of your stuff. Okay, fine. We're just starting. I'm just starting. This is our year, 2022, to right the wrongs that the judicial system is handing down, which is not justice, not fairness, not a lot of things. So I just want to introduce the speaker, the father of the girl. I want you to talk for 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Don't speak too quickly. I already noticed your rapid fire. Let the people absorb what you're about to tell them, because living in fear that you can't help your daughter probably keeps you awake at night if you're a good father, and you sound like you're a great father from what I can already tell. I explained about my kids to him. He explained about his kids to me. Though, okay, the state police in Connecticut is weaponized, in my opinion, and I can prove it, okay? Who do you know that has 1,200 cash stolen checks totaling $50 million in Connecticut that the state police were notified in 2000 about as it was occurring? So I have financial crime history as a investigator of money laundering. He is 40. I'm 58. I want to hear from him. Please pay full attention. Please follow his page. Please follow my page, because what we're accumulating here is life struggles in Connecticut with corrupt prosecutors like our chief state's attorney, Richard Colangelo, who should be in jail for collecting a bribe on a murder that occurred on 10/29/2019. I know the 6 cops that did it. I'm going to give him all the time he wants. I'm at 5 minutes. Okay, Pop says it's your turn. So, tell us your first name at least, okay?
Yes, sir. First of all, I must thank you for giving me your platform here.
Oh, wait till we work it. Go ahead.
It's a great privilege and honor to be with the great Johnny Flynn this evening here on the fine evening of January the 5th, 2022. Right. And as you said, it is the People's Year. That's a message where I'm going with my channel this year, Tyrant Slayer Studios. This is going to be the People's Year for justice. We are going to unite for a change.
And we're going after the judges, so you know. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got it. We are going after judges. We're going after marshals. We're going after specific Connecticut State Police. We're going after Matthew Gdansky.
Who's that?
Attorney. He's the state's attorney over there at
I don't know him.
Park Street, Rockville Family Court.
Well, thank you for the introduction. Excellent. Now, if you highlight cases to me that you know about, and I'm sure there's plenty, his boss, I have a problem with. Let's talk. Promise you keep the channels. I mean, obviously, I had a run-in the other day with a mental patient who is very high functioning, but he had his house stolen by mortgage fraud with Judge Spader. So I'm going to try to help him, and I put him in touch with the people that can. The media, we have a connection to. The state's advocate, we have a connection to. And now 10 legal minds that are pro se litigators working together. You understand? And you sound like you fit the bill. Go ahead.
So Judge Barry Armada, who is involved with my family court case, was the judge who replaced the self-recused Mazurowski. Now, Judge Mazurowski was the original judge presiding over my family court case in which my 13-year-old daughter, then 11 turning 12, is involved in. Now, the first thing that was wrong with this case was they never gave me time to find reasonable, viable representation. And they forced me, here's a crazy story for you.
How much money did the attorney want up front?
I'm sorry?
How much money did the attorney want up front?
Nothing right away. Here's what happened. In response to me keeping my daughter here in my home in the month of May, when she informed me that she was terrified of returning home, this is in May 2020.
Right.
Despite my efforts to find out what was going on and assess the situation with my ex, her mother, she was not willing to work with me or provide me any information or disclose anything that may or may not have happened in that house.
Right.
So at that time I said, we'll see you in court. And she filed for an emergency ex parte application.
Are there transients coming in and out?
I'm sorry?
Are there transients coming in and out of the house?
Yes, but at this time in May of 2020, I was not sure. All I had been made aware of is that my daughter was terrified, physically trembling and crying, telling me she didn't want to go back to her mother's house and she didn't want to talk to her mother.
How does she like her being with her 4 brothers? Don't you think that would be the natural thing?
She loved it. She loved it. She immediately embraced the role as big sister. She used to like pretending she was their teacher. She would often engage in the science projects we conduct here outside, getting closer to nature, learning about the
sounds reasonable.
Camping, survival techniques,
Okay.
Forging tools. My daughter loved it, and she was very happy here. I was able to successfully keep her.
So they were 3, 4, and 5 at the time, right?
Yeah, we got twins. She's got 4 brothers. We named all the boys after the Kennedy family, with the exception of Ted, because he was a black sheep trader piece of shit.
Well, John is my favorite.
But Jack and Robert are they got the namesake of the Kennedys. They're the twins. We are huge history buffs, and
everybody likes John F. Kennedy.
Yeah. And then we have Patrick. Patrick is their younger brother. He's named after John and Jackie's son, who died of RDS shortly after he was born.
Right.
And then our youngest, William Thomas Fitzgerald Riley.
Wow.
Fitzgerald in there. A very powerful name, I must say. And my daughter, Araya. A very big family, a very happy family when it is together. It's been a very troubling.
When was the last time you saw the 13-year-old? When was the last time you saw her? Christmas? No?
I haven't even been able to speak with her, despite court order yielding daily parental access. I haven't been able to speak to my daughter since August of last year.
Oh my goodness! And you have joint.
So I've been relying upon police and doing well-being checks.
Right.
Which often lead to nothing but sheer aggravation and terrible encounters with our law enforcement officers who,
of course,
have gone as far.
Do you have to rely on the state police, or can you use local? You use local and state?
Local and state police.
Okay.
I've reached out to both agencies.
Okay.
And on numerous occasions, they're just not willing to enforce the law or investigate criminal violations of Connecticut general statutes.
Right.
They insist that criminal violations of our laws are civil matters that they have to handle in court.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So here we go. But if there's heroin...
I have recorded all of these conversations.
Right.
I have recorded and video recorded.
Right.
All these phone calls, I've recorded all of them. I've gone to the police department. The former chief of police of Vernon PD was actually handling all of the Freedom of Information Act requests. The custodian of records over there would forward any sort of complaints or records requests to him for some reason, and many of the records I've been after involving this family court case and my investigation into the police conduct regarding my requests for service and things involving this court case, they've been obstructed and forwarded to the city attorney, and there's literally a outstanding Freedom of Information Act request that goes back, I think it's got to be over 6 months old now.
Yeah, they have 90 days, I thought.
It's totally against the law what they're doing. They're violating federal and state law, and they're using the city attorney, who's never reachable. And in fact, it seems as though Vernon has contracted with a number of attorneys that they consider city attorneys, none of which have any offices in our town hall. It seems like they're subcontracted out and actually own their own.
So the process is cumbersome at a minimum and not fully functioning. And maybe it might be intentional, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. The police seem to be a part of some sort of racket that is the Connecticut family court system.
Well, Shelton's worse, I can guarantee you that. But okay.
Getting back to that.
Yep. Give us details about the daughter. Tell us what you think might be happening. I know you can't really...
All right. So basically,
you know what I mean?
I started investigating what could be happening. I went straight down to Vernon PD, being a government accountability activist with my own channel on YouTube.
Right.
I knew how to access public record.
Right.
And I went down there and inspected and retained copy of a year's worth of police reports involving her address, and uncovered
how many reports?
Dramatic events taking place in that
like
house
what?
That my daughter
arrests, drug arrests.
There were arrests made.
How many?
There's been domestic. I've gotten body cam footage of some of the things that have happened in that house. And any human being with a rational mind would determine that that environment is absolutely not an environment any child should ever have
Now,
to be a
do
part
you
of.
suspect that some of these people have approached your daughter inappropriately? Do you suspect this?
Absolutely, 100%. I believe that's why my daughter is so frozen in fear and unable to express herself and cannot tell me what has happened over there. All she could tell me was,
Okay, by the way,
Dad,
I have a lovely 80-year-old aunt who's lovely, okay? She's a psychoanalyst, right? And if you ever need her, she'll be there. She can talk. She would love to talk to your daughter.
What's really strange about the court case is the judge wouldn't allow me to have my daughter speak for herself. They wouldn't allow me to get my daughter private representation. They forced me to use a GAL.
Now, here we go. Ready? Let me say something.
Terminated a GAL.
Right, let me say something. If there's a story that you want to take to the news, I can guarantee you Frank Recchia will cover it on any Saturday morning at 10 o'clock that you want. Okay? Channel 12.
I would love to do that right away. Maybe
Okay,
this Saturday
I can make that happen in a day. Though, what's best is Frank's girlfriend, Elizabeth Greenwood, okay? 9620232, I think is her number. 203 area code. She's the disabled advocate one of the disabled advocates, okay, for the state. Now, the fact that your ex, or we call her your ex, has a drug history, right? Has a daughter who's 13 and transients, and you suspect that that your own daughter is suffering from some kind of what? She's having a psychosis, really, due to.
It's absolutely irrefutable that
Right.
my daughter has been traumatized by the
Trauma,
documented
right.
events that I have tangible physical evidence
Right.
of occurring in that
Okay,
house.
do you know how many stories of this I've heard already? About 7 or 8. I'm not sure exactly, but there are situations in every town.
Yeah.
Mishandled.
And what scared me was seeing what you were willing to begin covering about sex trafficking. I've seen all this sex trafficking stuff come up, and it's like a scab. I worry every goddamn minute of every day.
Right. And by the way, you're really presenting
Now,
well.
when I call for well-being checks, the police treat me like a nuisance.
Hold on.
Right?
I have a guy right now, today, having those checks done on a son who's 21, who's 6'3", who's violent, okay? He's had seizures. He's a drug addict. Hello. And he put 40 jacks inside their house while it was standing and raised the house off its foundation, disconnecting itself from the chimney, destabilizing the home structure completely.
Yeah, right. No,
And hold on, it just got condemned 2 days ago. We've been boarding the house up so nobody goes inside and dies because it's risky. You can see what they did. There's jacks on every level. They lifted the house off the stone structure on the basement an inch.
It's off of the foundation.
Right. And then the next layer, another inch. The beams are separating. Do you understand?
It's like Jenga. They turned the house into a Jenga game.
Hold on. The cops won't do a wellness check. They say, he's 21 now, we're not a babysitter. You understand?
Officer safety does not come before duty.
Hold on. He's assaulting people daily. Okay? And he's 6'3".
So
Okay.
he is able to get in and out of the house then. Safely.
We're not sure where this whole thing stands, but I've been going there daily, right? I'm going tomorrow just for 1 hour just to check on it, right? But we went there for 9 hours one day, a couple days ago. We went for 12 hours yesterday. I was there from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. last night. Why? We're putting in joist hangers to hold the roof connected to the house. It's not.
shit.
It's not nailed anymore, and we shouldn't even be in there. And they can't condemn the building. The power is still on. Okay, you understand? The boiler's still operating. You understand?
That's one way of getting off grid.
Well, hold on. The mom, who's lovely, has a $150,000 problem that she didn't know about due to one of her three sons.
And this is their way of defending themselves?
One of three sons messing with the structure. Now, let's get back to your daughter. It's more important. What's happening with your daughter, you need an intervention, is what you really need. What you need is your next court date. You need 50 people in that courtroom.
The school won't even work with me. The guidance counselor over at my daughter's school, worthless. And I suspect that my
What's her name? Why don't you say it? What's her name? Tell me your name.
I don't have it offhand.
Okay, well then save it for a rainy day. But
yeah, you got it. No, I'll get it to her. Trust me.
Okay. Well then let's make this part one. Let's make this part one. Is that fair?
Yeah, sure.
And whatever you want to do, let's try to help this girl. Let's intervene. We've done interventions with Channel 12. I don't think we've never published them, but we've done them.
We don't want to rely on DCF, I'll tell you that right now. In fact, it was the fault of DCF, which I actually got in court record. I got them to admit in court.
Well, you know what the Democrats are, obviously, let me interrupt. The Democrats are daring me to do DCF stories. They're out.
I have a great DCF story for you.
Go ahead, lay it down. Try to condense it. Go.
Okay, DCF, when I decided to take them to trial and tried to call them out on their illegal activities, and it's called prior restraint.
Okay.
They were essentially threatening my family that they were going to take our kids for a 4-day stay if they couldn't see them and they couldn't talk to them and blah, blah, blah. And I knew everything she was doing was illegal, but our third son, Patrick, was just born. They're over there harassing my wife in the hospital. We just moved into a new apartment in Winstead, right on Main Street. Very quaint area, historical area, very nice area. We were very happy, very excited about the pregnancy and the delivery of our son. And then DCF storms into our lives. And no matter what I did, we didn't sign anything. I didn't cooperate with them to any degree to give them any sort of jurisdiction.
Why would you?
But this caseworker, Jennifer Lawler, is her name. She's out of the Torrington County. I don't know if it's Torrington, DCF.
Okay.
Responsible for the Winstead area. Yeah, Jennifer Lawler. Totally violated all of our rights. Stormed she asked to meet so that she could see our kids. My wife gets in the car, brings the kids down to the police department.
Was there a complaint?
No, there was. My wife. Okay, here's the thing. You're going to need this backdrop. When we were pregnant with twins, my wife and I are avid marijuana users. It doesn't adversely affect me in any way. It's a great motivator. It helps with a number of things for me. It's not for everybody. My wife is also was avidly using. Now, when we were pregnant with our twins, we were very open and transparent about that and had no problem at all working with all of the doctors.
So, hold on, let me ask you a quick question. You think legalizing marijuana helps Connecticut's youth?
No, and I'm actually against the legalization under the premise that it's being legalized.
Right, now, have you read all the cases about the laced marijuana? Have you read how many cases there are?
That stuff's going to be around whether or not it's legal or not. The thing I'm concerned with is, yes, it's going to have a detrimental effect.
Right.
I mean, it could.
And what about vaping products? What about vaping products?
I don't like vaping products at all. I don't think they've been out long enough for us to.
It's super harmful. It's super harmful to your lungs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very practical, rational human being. I've got a math-based mind.
Right.
And my kids always come first. Health is always going to be number one.
Right. You sound like...
I'm very fair. I'm a very reasonable person. I don't outcast individuals for having...
I'm glad you're willing to talk about it, because not a lot of people are.
I know, and that's because of, I believe, social media and just the 24/7 rampant media cycle that kind of jams down the social demands, the socially engineered demands of this new society of ours, are constantly being pushed down the throats, not just on TV and social media, but in our schools.
Well, these people who are doing these things to some kids like your daughter, do they know that she, the mom, has heroin use in her history?
Well, that's the thing. I've presented police reports. I've presented...
now, why would you choose a heroin user over a recreational pot smoker? No, I don't smoke pot, or I've never,
No one in the court knows I smoke pot. And, like, at the time, my ex was out of the picture where DCF is involved. We're kind of jumping around here.
Okay.
But to finish,
I'm sure it's complicated. I'm sure it's very complicated.
Basically, DCF, I threatened to take them to trial, and then they, under prior restraint and the threat of duress, insisted upon doing checks on our house. They would come to our house every week, in which we had our attorney present every time, and the DCF caseworker never even opened our cabinets, never even once went into our bathroom to see where the kids bathed, never actually did any investigating or anything to file a...
You mean they had a preconceived notion?
They would sit on our couch and talk about vacation and where they're going this weekend and the family picnic, and then, okay, guys, have a nice day, right? And then the day of the trial, the day before trial, they say, oh, we withdraw our case because we essentially got what we were after anyway, which was making sure everything is okay. But this was because my son, Patrick, and I needed to give you, like, the backdrop first, but during the pregnancy of our twins, we had no problem.
Right.
And at St. Francis Hospital, they all knew that we were smoking pot and likely would continue smoking pot while breastfeeding. They said, well, they were real with us, practical. They said there is no data that suggests that that's unhealthy, and there is no data that suggests that that's beneficial. And we contested, we have these peer-reviewed studies.
So now let's get on to the trauma of the daughter. Can you say anything about the trauma of the daughter?
Basically, the court...
She can't express herself, is what you're saying.
The court violated... She can't express herself, and she's been taken away from me under the threat of duress by misusing what's called a capias, which brings me back to your channel. I see you're doing the capias mortgage fraud thing. Well, the judge used a capias, a $5,000 capias, to get me to surrender the rights of my daughter. Now, here's the funny thing about this. It's September 2020, and I've successfully been able to keep her safe from May, the weekend I take her.
So, well, listen. I'm going to introduce you to Andrew Pritchard when we're done.
Yeah.
You talk to him about that, okay?
Okay, great.
And now, by the way, there are cases you need to learn about that...
Oh, I know. I stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning reading case law. I read the Connecticut practice book. I've been very well self-taught to a degree, but I absolutely need some help.
Yeah. You know what? Did you see what Lamont did yesterday? He's going to make more attorneys more available to speed up the process of doing this crap.
Yeah. And everybody's wearing masks, hiding their face while they do it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad my kids are...
One afternoon.
I'm glad my kids are 18 and 23, because yours are, 4, 5, and 7? 4, 6, and 7?
Yeah,
so you have a long way to go. You have a long way to go. So let's try to get you all the support you need. It's 29 minutes we're on. Let's try to keep it at 30. So why don't you try to wrap it up in 45 seconds?
All right. My daughter is in grave danger, and despite my greatest efforts, I have not been able to help her. There are things swinging into my favor at this point, but there are some serious judicial procedural requirement violations that need to be addressed, and a number of Connecticut officials that need to be held accountable and liable for the traumas and the terrible things that have happened to my daughter and around my daughter for the past year.
Right. Let me ask you one more thing. Let me ask you one thing. Now, you're doing these wellness checks, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't uncovered any heroin use, right?
They don't actually, they don't go and search the house or anything. They just ask the mother to come to the door and to see the daughter. And they say, "Hi, Araya. Are you Araya?" She says, "Yes." "Okay. Are you okay tonight?" She says, "Yes." You know, out of whatever fear. She's not going to be honest with a stranger. She's got, being in the presence of a police officer is actually kind of traumatic for her, too.
Right.
You know, so I hate doing it.
It's being a 13-year-old girl. Right.
What I've asked the police to do is to call me when they get there so that I can talk to my daughter.
Yes, why can't that be done? Why can't that be done?
From my life.
You have visitation rights, right?
I have daily parental access per court order, but I've been denied access since August. That's a criminal violation.
Well, let's make a request here. Let's make a request here. Since I got so many cops watching my site and telling me they do, why don't we try to find one in your area that's willing to do that?
I'd be surprised if you do, because I've been trying for a year. I've gone from
all right, let me see what I can do.
Sergeants to captains to lieutenants.
Let me see what I can do.
To enforce our laws.
By the way, you know, there are police commissioners that are judges. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Judge Spader is a police commissioner and a judge. He's the mortgage fraud asshole.
Isn't that a conflict of interest?
You would think.
Oh, speaking of conflict of interest, Judge Barry Armada used to work for the very same law firm that represents the plaintiff in my family court case.
You're kidding.
A criminal conflict of interest?
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
So he's doing them a favor. He used to be a partner there? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, there was a wink and there was a nod, and I'm sure there was gin on a Saturday night long before there was ever any ruling. They already knew what they were going to do to me.
So spell Barry's last name. Spell Barry's last name.
I'm sorry?
Spell Judge Barry's last name. A-R what?
It's A-R-M-A-T-A, or it might be two T's. It's A-R-M-A-T-T-A or A.
Okay, let me give that name to my friend Rick, who can backdoor that system and tell you everything about him. How about that?
And then there's Jennifer Mazurowski, too. Let me get you her spelling.
Oh, I got Mazurowski. That one I understood.
Yeah, her too. She's the one that had to recuse herself after she.
For what reason? For what reason?
She basically violated judicial procedural protocol.
How?
And I called her out on it.
Like a canon? She violated a canon of conduct?
Yeah, she did not follow the rules of the court at all.
Did she?
Not adhering to the Connecticut practice book.
Did you write a complaint to?
The plaintiff's lawyer used that against her to get a ruling that he wanted.
Did you complain to Judge Carroll?
No, I was overwhelmed with the whole case.
Oh, I would call him. The chief court administrator.
When all this is over, I can go and file the complaints and everything.
Right, here we go. We have a guy asking for everyone to go to the FBI website in Connecticut and file complaints against judges that are corrupt as the day is long. I'm talking, you know, this mortgage fraud thing is Casanova Creek and, you know, the other guys. The law firm there has, you know, 7,000 misconducts. We're not talking about, you know. And by the way, it's not about the party, because both parties are doing it. But when the DNC chair, right, runs the law firm, which is happening, where there are multiple frauds upon the court. When you look at the data and the magnitude, right? Yeah, well, why isn't the mix of judges correct? Why is there 15 Democratic judges in Stamford Superior Court and only one Republican? When the population is 29% Republican, you would think they would.
Yeah, they have no representation there.
Right. So here we go. I don't know what your mix is, but it sounds like you're really on the way. The only way you were able to protect the boys that you have was being on the ball.
Of course. It was the DCF experience I had when my third son, Patrick, was born.
Right. So here we go. There are people out there with no experience, you know? There are people out there that need to watch your video, right?
Precisely. I'm there to educate, not just
right. You're an advocate.
Law enforcement too. This is
right.
good for everybody.
Hold on. I have DCF. Do you know Joyce the Voice?
The name rings a bell.
Okay. She worked on the Theodoro case of the woman from Kentucky driving through Connecticut who had her fetus inside her stomach cut out without her consent. Driving through the state.
God.
No permission. They human trafficked, stole a baby in utero, gave it to the judge, and the judge gave it to the clerk. His own clerk. Her own clerk. That judge is named Figura. Sanchez Figura. F-E-G-E-U-O-R-I-A, I think. So, like I'm saying, people run into these people like someone in the future that runs into Barry Armada, right? Or Jennifer Mazurowski, right?
Yeah, she doesn't even brush her hair before she gets to the bench. It looks like she shows up half, hung over off of the 16 bottles of wine she was drinking. In fact, she schedules a hearing for 9:30 a.m. I show up at 9 o'clock. I've got it. Recorded record. 9:30 a.m., right? I'm a half hour early. It's irrefutable that she says that. I have the evidence of it. And then I'm sitting there with my thumb up my ass until 12 o'clock, 12:30 in the afternoon, and I got the court monitor telling me, no, I got it recorded right here on the monitor. She said 12 o'clock. Well, I've got video right here that says you're both full of shit.
Uh-oh. Hey, easy. The language. Good.
Sorry. Oh, yeah,
it's okay. Jennifer Mazurowski, Judge, Connecticut. Hold on. Let me see what comes up. Oh, wait a minute. Well.
She's been on the bench for a couple, 3 years.
Okay. Well, Jennifer Mazurowski. Maybe I spelled her name wrong. Mazarowski?
I'll tell you in a second. Hold on. Please bear with me.
No worries. Because people who run into this judge should know.
Yeah, we really need to address the corruption in the Rockville family.
Oh, here it is. I found her.
Been emailed by dozens.
I found her. Clinical social work therapist. Oh, she's in Tacoma, Washington. This can't be her.
No. Let's see here.
Psychology Today.
Let's see. It's
Does it have one N or two?
I'll tell you in a second. I'm on the judicial site right now looking through my case file.
Okay.
It's M-A-C.
Oh, I spelled it wrong. Okay.
I-E-R.
Yep.
O-W-S-K-I. Mazurowski.
Lawyer in Hartford, Connecticut. Hold on. Jennifer Ann Mazurowski. Okay, it doesn't say she's a judge here, but hold on. Oh, you said she was made a judge 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, she's been on the bench for a couple, 3 years. I had pulled up some information on her before. Hang on, I'll try to find it for you.
Judge Jennifer. Vernon Judge ends eviction saga. Hold on.
Yeah, I see that.
Jennifer a Superior Court judge, 19 Courthouse, 20 Park Street, Rockville, Connecticut, ruling. Malloy nominates 2 more to the bench. Oh boy.
Yep. Yeah, that's the report I got here. That's the one I was looking for. It's loading up now here. Let me see.
Yukon Law School, graduate of Amherst, has worked for the Senate Republican caucus.
She is an evil, evil woman that hates men.
Here we go. Republicans question funding for 30 judges. Hold on. This is interesting. I'm looking at a picture. Hold on. House Republican leader Themis, she's running for governor, of Derby,
Really?
and said each new judge costs $300,000, including the annual salary of $167,000. Clearly, we do not have enough available funds to staff or even caseloads to justify putting 30 more people on the bench. Okay.
I would like to take her immunity and sue her and prosecute her. Same with Barry Armada. That's my objective here. They lose their immunity for their misconduct that has jeopardized the life and the safety and the mental health of my poor little girl for all of this time. And their court clerks have been obstructing access to all the records to this case. In fact, they were in violation of Connecticut.
Oh, here. Ready? I'm reading about everything here. All what Malloy said, what Lamont said, and all these people. And then at the bottom, it says the Chief Court Administrator, Judge Patrick L. Carroll III, told Claritas in writing that the judicial branch does not have enough staff members to help the judges who are currently working. Now that's the Chief Court Administrator, okay? This article was written on April 27th, 2018, okay? So, let's wrap it up there, that it's a funding issue, okay? B. Clearly,
the court didn't even get legal jurisdiction over me to begin proceeding in this case. They had a marshal crawl on the floor like an infant baby during my first hearing and slide a self-represented appearance form across the table on which he had made notations with a blue ink pen. I don't know what those notations were for, but he said, "You need to sign this."
To you.
I asked the judge if I had to sign it, or if the judge asked, I asked the judge, "Did you ask me to sign anything?" The judge said no, and I said, "I don't know what this document is, and this man is telling me I need to sign it. I don't know what it is, and I need to speak with legal representation to identify this."
So they denied you an attorney, is what you're saying.
They forced me to sign a self-representing appearance form. They made me show up to court to sign that piece of paperwork. And I was battered by a marshal in the courtroom that day, moments after the judge walked out because I refused to sign that piece of paper. He ripped it out of my hand, destroyed the evidence.
Really?
It damaged my property.
Okay,
Yeah.
ask Andrew. Remember I said I'm going to introduce you to Andrew Pritchard? Ask Andrew that question. That's the second question you need to ask him, okay?
Yes, sir.
I have my own opinions about these things, but he can quote the law, the rule,
Right.
by word by word. And me, I mean, I know the difference between right and wrong, but
Right.
I'll tell you what just happened right there is a misconduct issue. The question is whether it's administrative or judicial, okay?
It's both, because I made the judicial officials aware of what this man was telling me I needed to do. They put gloves on and were ready to arrest me when I called for a recess and said, "Are you going to sign that?" They surrounded me. I said, "No, I'm not going to sign this. I have no idea what it is." And he said, "Well, then I'm going to go into the courtroom and tell the judge right now to hold you in contempt."
Excuse me, they can't order you to sign something when you're denying legal representation.
Yes, I know that. And then they battered me and threw me out of the courtroom.
Okay, so they didn't arrest you, but they threatened you with false arrest. They threatened you with false
they were
arrest.
all surrounding me, putting their gloves on, telling me that they were going to tell the judge that I was going to be in contempt because I was refusing to sign the paperwork. And I said, "The judge didn't tell me I needed to sign this. You did. And I don't even know what it is."
Right, so, hey, they gave you legal advice, And they're not even an attorney.
Exactly. They were trying, that's the means for the court to get jurisdiction over me, saying that I'm about to, I agree and consent to play by all of their rules, and that's how they eventually took my daughter illegally by...
I think you have a case there, bro.
They did it through habeas, which is totally another misconduct that needs to be addressed. They didn't give me any notice. They called me up...
It sounds like they... And you know who those marshals were?
To this day, I don't know the name of the marshal who battered me, but I just talked to Chief Judicial Marshal O'Donovan Murphy about it about a week ago, and I've been drafting my formal complaint about it so that he can finally begin his internal affairs investigation. I've been trying to reach Chief Judicial Marshal O'Donovan Murphy for over a year, and it's only because of my... Do you have his
phone number? 29th. You got his phone number?
Yeah, I have his phone number. It's only due to my false arrest on November the 29th that I was actually finally able to get a hold of him, and that the judicial deputy chief and chief are willing to finally start talking to me.
Who's the deputy chief?
The former deputy chief I was in correspondence with has been replaced. The new one, I don't have. I think it's a she. And I don't have her name in front of me, and I have yet to speak with her. I don't want to go to the second on the list. I want to go to the top of this.
I think you should, yeah. By the way, what you don't know is the disabled advocate I was telling you about?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Greenwood?
Yeah.
She has a direct line to Richard Blumenthal, and he does everything she asks. In other words, she says, I got a problem with this. He says, how can I help you? You understand?
Oh, that's...
So what happens is, the reporter, Frank Reggia, right?
Yep.
That's his girlfriend. Okay? Frank puts Blumenthal on the news 6 times a week. You understand?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so guess what?
Yeah,
if the story is worth telling, which I know it is, I already know it is, right? How do we get it on the news? Well, that's the easy part.
I want to dump Channel 3 under the bus while we do that as well, because I've been reaching out to them for about a year and providing them enormous detail as to what's going on. And then when I finally got to a pivotal moment in the case and thought, wow, this is really newsworthy here, and reached out to them again.
Yeah. You want me to call Frank with you right here? Hey, you want me to call Frank with you right here?
Yeah, sure. Just give me a moment. I got to use the John.
Well then let's do it at a later date. I'll tell Frank about it. I'll send Frank the video we just made, okay?
Okay, great. That sounds finished.
A pleasure to meet you. Best of luck with your daughter. It sounds like the boys are working out great.
Yeah, they are really, really superstars. They would rather listen to a Kennedy speech on vinyl record than play video games. You know.
Okay, well listen. Let me make an offer. In the summertime, if you're driving by, we have the nicest pool in Norwalk, and you're welcome. And if you come on a Sunday at 6:30, I will feed you all.
Well, I'm Italian, so I'm not going to show up empty-handed, and I will have to bring a fine Italian dish handed down from my great-grandparents.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have a great time, and anyone who would like to be there, we'll make it a what do you call it? A block party.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Any Sunday is best.
Back to America this year.
Very good. A pleasure to meet you. I'm glad you called and contacted me. And yes, I'm about to push this out. Okay?
Thank you, Johnny Flynn, for your time.
I thank you. Enjoy. I think we can help you. I think we can. Watch. If Blumenthal talks about your daughter, you will get your evidence.
That will change everything. Yeah, they denied access to this evidence to the police in violation of...
Hold on. Now, hold on. Let me recommend something. Ready? When a state disabled advocate writes a FOIA and copies in Blumenthal, and it's on the form, guess what happens?
They get that info right away.
Yeah, like immediately.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it?
Now, be friends with Elizabeth. Treat her right. She has dinner with us every Sunday night. Treat her right, and I'm telling you, you'll get results. Nobody can say no to the people.
I'm honored for the opportunity.
So by the way, she's been helping people for years, right? Everyone.
I haven't heard of her.
So here we go. Everyone in her circle, right, has been helped one way or another. You understand?
Yeah. That's very refreshing news, sir, and I'm very pleased to.
I'm glad to make your acquaintance.
Have an opportunity to speak with you.
You don't sound like a tyrant slayer.
Well, I like to try to be polite when I slay the tyrants. That's what distinguishes my channel. I don't go out there and yell at the cops and say, "Oh, don't shoot me! I got my hands up." I'm not an antagonist or a protagonist. I like to be very calm, very professional.
You sound it. You sound it.
Are trained. Yeah, they're trained to irritate you. They're trained to get under your nerves and make you react in a kind of...
Hey, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Now we got you on disorderly, buddy.
Young man, do you know why I pulled you over? Young man, do you know why I pulled you over?
Right. Because you're a tyrant and you want to generate some revenue for the state.
Good answer. I like that answer. All right, my friend. Take care. We'll talk soon. Maybe tomorrow. Bye.
See you, man.
See you, man. Thank you, brother, for being so wonderful.
What do you mean?
You've been helpful. You hadn't even known it.
I did what?
You've been very helpful lately. You're not even aware.
Really? What have I done or not done?
Wouldn't you rather be infamous than famous?
Well, sometimes you can be both.
I don't know. Watch my Ben Proto video if you don't mind.
Give me the short of it. Right now I'm at Kennedy.
He's a dick. But I'm changing that by forcing him to help me.
That sounds good. Just don't call him a dick.
No, I won't. But Dick Blumenthal's a different story.
Well, true.
I just did I don't know if anybody realizes it, but we are knocking it out.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I just found a blogger in Connecticut that has 46,000 subscribers who is following my page, and I just did a post about him. And he has a 13-year-old daughter that DCF took.
Who is it?
His name is, well, he goes by Tyrant Slayer.
Really?
And he has 4 boys getting along famously that live with him. He just lost the daughter. And she's supposedly living in this heroin addict's house.
Oh my God.
And he thinks that people are sexually abusing her.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He told me. Hold on. I have to pull it off one of the videos. He said it, but I called him the Tyrant Slayer because that's his handle. I wanted to get people to log on to his page, and hopefully I can get some of his Connecticut people to follow me, you know?
Yeah.
He's got 46,300 followers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, some things are cooking with respect to Rosati.
I'm sure.
Um,
How many views did we get? Let's take a look. You mind?
no.
I don't think it's many, but I'm up to 7,000 on that other one. You remember the number of it?
No, I don't.
Oh, I'll find it. It's right here. I'll find it. I've done so many mortgage videos that, oh, it's number 611. We have 217 views.
All right, that's good. Listen, I'm in Kennedy. My customer just sent me a text. They're ready.
Yeah, good.
But some things are cooking with Rosario, and his sister is willing to go public with a demand that he resign. And I shared this with Frank Recchia. I said, "Are you interested?" He writes back late the other night, "Yes."
Good.
All right. I
Yeah.
can go right now.
Bye. I will keep that between us, period.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Excellent. Hey, Pop, did you get to the store and buy an entree?
I did fish.
Excellent. Should I make it?